9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, Baseball Family. It's our first Tuesday episode. I am Blackjack Brad, and as always, I am joined by Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes.
That's me. I'm here.
I did that in one take.
You did. That was crazy. I loved it.
I can't believe it. It took everything I had to get that on the first try.
Marshaled all of your skills.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for that for just a minute.
I might fly out there just pat you on the back.
Well, Baseball Family, the reason we moved to Tuesday is because we got sick and tired of our current events and our takes and everything being out of date by the time Monday rolled around. We'd record Friday, Saturday night, and new stuff would happen on Sunday and Monday during the day. It's like, well, geez, everything I said on Friday is now completely irrelevant. So this is why we moved to Tuesdays.
Also, Brad's wife deserves date nights. She just does.
Yes, that's true.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. But so today we're going to get caught up on current events. We're going to go through current events of last week. We're going to get caught up on current events of the weekend because that's why we're here. That's why we're here on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to give Brig not quite a baseball quiz, but I'm going to ask him some questions about baseball. Ooh. Some of his thoughts, opinions, comments, snide remarks, the whole.
And I have no idea what's coming. No idea
he doesn't.
I'm a little bit scared, actually.
Don't be scared. Because I believe in you. I believe in you.
All
right. Should we get started?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So first things first, the Astros continue to get away with it. Unreal.
All day,
absolutely.
Every day.
Yeah, it's insane, and I don't understand how things can be going this way. For those of you who don't know, there was a little bit of a it wasn't even a little bit. The bench is cleared.
Full on scuffle.
The bullpens came in. There was a brawl. It was the A's and the Astros. Okay.
It was a Donnybrook.
Ramon. There you go.
It was a Donnybrook.
It was a Donnybrook, bro.
That's what it was, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So Ramon Laureano got hit like 5 times in a 3 or 4 game series. He plays for the A's, and the Astros were just throwing at him the whole time. And finally, he got sick of it, and so he's telling him like, "Hey, come on!" You could see he's kind of doing the action, like spin that curveball, It's like whatever.
Uh-huh.
But then you've got Alex Cintron. I don't know how to say his name. He's the Astros hitting coach. He's barking at him from the dugout as he's walking on to first base. Next thing you see Laureano charge the dugout. Now, this is the second time in 2 years we've seen this happen. And I got to say, you got to have some brass ones on you if you're going to charge the dugout by
that's
yourself.
Right. That's exactly right.
Like, it's one thing to charge the mound because you're going 1-on-1, maybe 1-on-6 or 7 at the most.
That's not too bad.
But they've got 28-man roster plus coaches.
Staff, trainers.
Yeah,
man.
And of course, Cintron, after chirping at him, hides behind like 3 players.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, like he should be suspended the rest of the season just for that alone. If you're gonna bark at a guy and you're gonna instigate it, stand up and fight him. You can't hide.
That's what I say. But you know what else I'd love to do though? I'd like to sit there right next to Ramon and crush some Astros, bro. Like, I would just love that.
Kick some Astros, if you will. Kick some Astros.
Kick some Astros.
No, I totally agree with you. I'd go with him. I'd be right by his side for sure.
Too.
It's unreal. And then Laureano got 6 games. Cintron got 20 games, which like I said, I feel like that's light. He should be out for the rest of the season because of his role in the whole thing and his cowardice and the whole thing. Like, no, kick him out. He's got no place in baseball.
Well,
but the fact that Laureano got 6 games and no Astros who were involved in it got suspended. I think Maldonado was catching that day, and he tackled Laureano before he reached the dugout.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I understand you're defending your team, but that is just as much instigating as charging, I feel like, because you've got the guy on the ground. Somebody from the Astros should have been suspended. Nobody from the Astros got suspended for throwing at him.
Nope.
It's a complete lack of institutional control on Rob Manfred's part, because the Astros have been given immunity not only in the investigation but also in the season. It seems like they can just do whatever they want, throw at anybody, whoever they want, and they won't get suspended either.
Yep. That is how it seems.
So I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what we have going on in baseball right now. Joe Kelly's suspension, speaking of guys who did get suspended for throwing at somebody, not even hitting anybody, but throwing at them.
He didn't even hit anybody.
That there is like so much, just like, how much more Rob Manfred can you be?
That's
Joe
so
Kelly
Rob
gets
Manfred.
5 games. Like I said, he got his suspension was reduced to 5 games. He gets 5 games for throwing at somebody but not hitting him. But the Astros will let him slide for hitting somebody because they tattled on him. They tattled and said that they were breaking the rules.
That's so Manfred.
Oh, it is so
Put that
Manfred.
on a T-shirt.
We should
I
put
will.
it on a T-shirt.
Don't worry.
Do it. Perfect. Love it. So it blows my mind. Like I said, Joe Kelly 5 games now. That's still 13 and a half games in a regular season.
That's right.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot of baseball for
is.
a middle reliever. But anyways,
World.
let's talk about things that we actually are happy about and we like. I'm a big World Baseball Classic guy. I was not originally. Brig, do you like the World Baseball Classic,
I do.
right?
I really do, yeah.
You're an international competition guy.
Yes, for sure.
An Olympics junkie. Self-proclaimed Olympics junkie.
True. That's well played there. Yeah.
But the World Baseball Classic was supposed to be, what was it, next year?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, that's right. But they bumped it to 2023, which I think works out because you got to do qualifiers, everything. Qualifiers will be next year. And how about this? The field has been upped to 20 teams.
Whoa,
from 16.
Yeah, see, now that I dig.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should be like a true World Cup size field.
Yep.
As far as contenders, not like pitch or whatever. But
yeah.
anyways.
Not the pitch itself. Yes. Very good.
But no, I'm excited about it. I really like the World Baseball Classic. Like I said, I wasn't big on it before because I felt like I feel like international competition gets watered down because there's just a few elite countries as far as talent.
Yep.
You know?
Yes.
But like basketball in the Olympics. I was talking about basketball because I'm a big basketball fan as well. Yes. But basketball in the Olympics is like there's like 3 countries who compete. It's the U.S., Spain, and Argentina. That is like
right.
Mm-hmm. And some of the Eastern European countries are starting to get better, but nobody can compete with those 3 countries. And so I don't love Olympic basketball because it's watered down. I was worried about that with the World Baseball Classic, that it was going to feel watered down, but it doesn't. No. And it makes sense that it's not.
Yeah.
Right?
And the cool thing about the World Baseball Classic is that there are more than 3 or 4 countries representative, and they have so much talent. And so they field a decent competition almost every day. It's especially once you get a little deeper into it, man, it's like really great baseball all the time.
It is. It's a ton of fun, and it's the other thing that I liked about it because I need to go to a WBC game like for sure because it's more of that international sporting atmosphere. Yes. You get more of the soccer and the KBO environment in there because people have their flags, people are jumping and cheering the entire game.
Are out.
It's unreal. Yeah. Less picnicky, more ruckus.
Yeah, lots more ruckus. Yeah, yes.
And I'm here for that.
Yeah, I think I could get into that. I'm trying to think if I've ever been to a baseball game with ruckus, and I don't think I've ever had that experience. I would be happy about it though.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't think I've ever been to a baseball game that got ruckus. I mean, I've been in one that did,
right?
Just because there was a situation and benches cleared, but
Donnybrook.
There was a little bit of Donnybrook, but that's a whole different story. But we'll get into that maybe another day. So keep your eye out for the WBC. We're still a couple years away, but we're gonna get some qualifiers here in 2022. Yeah. So that should be fun.
All comes down to the money. If countries aren't willing to compensate their players to play and train and et cetera, then if there's no incentivized motivator, then that was redundant. If there's no motivator, stop. then it's the same with amateur boxing, right? There's no incentive for USA boxing for athletes to compete in USA boxing. They just go pro because within a short amount of time and the same amount of work, they get their face bashed in a little bit more, but they make a ton of money doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. And really at this point, it's not safe to be doing that much traveling.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another big thing too. Is they're supposed to be qualifying this year, but it's just not realistic right now.
So, no, I agree with you.
Anyways, but speaking of, it's obviously it's not safe because of COVID. But speaking of COVID, you got some issues with the Indians.
Yeah.
The NL Central is kind of a mess with COVID right now. Or not the NL, just the Central in general. The AL Central, the NL Central. The East kind of has things sorted out. We've been lucky so far with the West, knock on wood, that hasn't been an issue. But the Central, for some reason, you've had the Cardinals who went 2 weeks without playing baseball. They finally played today. And they're going to have to play a ton of doubleheaders between now and the middle of September.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess that's their punishment is depleted pitching. But, we've talked about it before. We talked about it last week that are they going to have to reach a certain winning percentage? Are they going to have to reach a game threshold of a certain number of games played in order to be eligible for the playoffs? And there's a chance if they have to reach a threshold, the Cardinals might not reach it. So.
And there should be, by the way.
Yeah, there should be. There definitely should be.
Absolutely capital N, need a minimum games played threshold, guys.
Yes. I totally agree. I like the number 53 because that is, that's 88%.
Yeah.
Of your games.
I would be okay with 80 to 82%. Whatever that math works out to be. Do the nerd thing, Brad.
Yeah. I'm working. I closed my calculator.
My calculator, the gloves.
There it is. There's the Brad we love. Check out the big brain on Brad. Yeah.
So 80% is 48 games. That's 48 games.
That's a little low.
And that would be the absolute lowest I'd be willing to go. Absolutely lowest. Because 50 games would be...
Call it an even 50, and I'd feel okay about it.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
But anyways, so the Indians had a little bit of a scare, and they were, trying to avoid the risk of going down the Cardinals' path. They had Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger went out and then came back, and they sent Plesac home pretty quick. They're like, no, you broke protocols. You're out. Go home, quarantine. We'll take care of it. But then apparently Mike Clevenger didn't tell anybody about it. That he went out with Plesac, and he actually got on the plane, and everybody was so mad. Mm-hmm. They were so mad. So they sent him home from wherever they're going. I don't remember at this point. It was last week. I don't remember what happened this morning. So
it's all a blur.
They sent him home. It is all a blur. So much a blur. But... So they sent him, and then they optioned both of those guys to their alternate training site. Like, oh, man. So the Indians are putting more value on actually playing games than they are on winning because Clevenger's very good. Yeah. Like, he's one of the – they got Bieber, so they're still going to win when he's out there, but Clevenger is a very good pitcher. And so they're obviously missing out with him. But the fact that they were like, no, you guys broke the rules. This is your punishment.
I love it.
Good on them.
Dilly. Yes.
Yeah. More teams should do it. But it got to the point where Plesac was not happy with the way the media reacted, with the way the team reacted, everything, blah, blah, blah. But this is the reason they got optioned is because the rest of the team basically said, get rid of these guys or we're not playing. Reliever Oliver Perez said he'd opt out of the season if they weren't punished. Francisco Lindor voiced his displeasure, and I think if Lindor is saying something about it, the Indians are going to be like, "Oh yeah, we better do something."
For sure. That goes org wide. Yeah,
definitely,
all the way to the top.
Yeah, for sure. So no, like I said, good on them. Good job punishing these guys. They deserve to be 100%.
I agree, man. I think it's fabulous.
But in order...
No, I think it's fabulous. I like to see that the players are policing themselves. That's my favorite thing. Solve the problem at the lowest level possible. And if you have team captains and you have those powerful personalities in the clubhouse, that's where it should start and end. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. It shouldn't have to go to the top. It shouldn't have to go to Manfred. He shouldn't have to make some kind of punishment for players and teams and everything based on outbreaks. The team should take care of it themselves. If the players can take care of it, then
that's too heavy-handed to get Manfred involved in something like that, and he would just blow it anyway. So can't let it get that high, guys. We need team captains. This is why you're there.
Too much precedent for that.
Yes.
But Manfred and Major League Baseball, though, they have come to the conclusion that because of the way things have gone, in order for the season to get to and complete a World Series, they're probably going to have to do the bubble scenario. Which, given the expanded playoffs, it's not realistic to do it in one place. Like, just play all the games in Arizona, all the games in Florida, which, I mean, if they wanted to use spring training facilities, they could. Arizona would be a great place to play if they use spring training facilities.
Yes,
wouldn't it?
It's so close.
In October baseball.
Oh man, I would be on a plane so fast.
Oh man, that'd be beautiful.
Amazing.
That'd be perfect. So, but what they're toying with is L.A. and Anaheim, North South Side Chicago, and Queens and Bronx, New York.
Well, and those make plenty of sense as well. Honestly, I mean, especially with the three divisions broken up that way. I mean, it's it's good.
Yeah, so they'll have their locations for their divisions, everything. I'm curious where they're going to play the World Series, because at that point it's got to be right. It's got to be
neutral site. That's right. You have to.
So yeah, I would think so. And I'm curious where they're going to play it. I'd like to.
That's why they're not picking Arizona for this bubble theory thing, because maybe Arizona and one of the Florida teams will be the neutral site. They're not going to play it in the Trop, though. Nope.
No,
so
not
it would
in the
either
Trop,
be
no.
in Miami.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Arizona's going to be, even if they did like the bubble in Arizona, it would be a neutral site anyway. Let's be real. The D-backs are not making the playoffs.
I can hold out hope, okay? I said wild card. There's still time.
It's true. You did. There is. And you know what? I noticed today that the Padres, despite how well they've been playing, how good they are, they're under 500. That they actually have a worse record than the D-backs. So I don't know. Maybe they will make the wild card.
None of this makes sense. We're 3 weeks into the season.
It doesn't.
Everything is calibrated the wrong way. I've got no. We only have 6 weeks left, people. The season ends in 6 weeks.
Up is down, left is right. I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, it's fun though.
I'm so confused by it all. It is fun, yeah. It's a whirlwind, is what it is.
It's crazy,
and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
loving it. But hey, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about a little bit more current events to get you caught up on the weekend, and then later we'll get into some baseball questions.
Yeah.
No matter which ballpark you're at, you want to rep your team. Now you can with 9+ Us. Welcome to the Big City Series. With every design available in your team's colors, you can fit in with the home crowd or stand out on the road. Either way, we have the colors you crave. Shop the Big City Series and find designs that rep your favorite baseball podcast, cheer from the cheap seats, and much more. Shop the Big City Series only at 9plusus.com.
Welcome back, baseball family, to segment 2 of our episode today. Brad has another Where Did the Team Name Come From? We're very excited about that, and then we're going to talk about who's injured and some power rankings and things like that. So, very exciting. First of all, Brad, why don't you tell us where the Kansas City Royals got their team name?
The Kansas City Royals. So I was thinking about this week. I was like, I haven't done one in a long time. Mm-hmm. And what's a team name that I've always been curious about? So I actually came with the Royals because I've always wondered. It's not like Kansas City has ever been ruled by a king or anything like it. I
Hey,
thought
they did
maybe,
in 2015. They were okay.
I thought maybe it came from the Negro League team, which was the Monarchs. So they just said, let's take that and we'll make them the Royals.
Yeah.
Not the case.
What?
Not the case.
Okay.
It's not the Monarchs.
This is me sitting
So-
back. I'm ready.
All right. So this is from Bleacher Report. It says it's because of Missouri's billion-dollar livestock income. It was Kansas City's position as the nation's leading stocker and feeder market and the nationally known American Royal Parade and Pageant.
Get out of here.
So it doesn't come from past kings or queens, doesn't come from the Kansas City Monarchs. It is because of the livestock industry and the American Royal Parade and Pageant.
I did not know that.
Me neither. I thought that was really interesting.
That
kind of a
is
funny thing. I wonder, and I wonder why they have never had any kind of livestock in their logo. That it's always been, which makes sense, a crown. That's fine.
Sure.
But they never had any kind of nod to that in their history.
You're right. Not one time. Even the colors don't jive.
Yeah, nothing about it. Nothing about it says livestock. But
Huh.
I mean, at that point, they might as well have just gone with like Aggies or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Well, I like
that was
Royals
cool.
better than Aggies.
I do too. Aggies feels like a college thing because it is.
It is a college. Couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few of them. I can think of 3 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would never have thought that's what Royals came from. So.
Wow. Look at you, Brad. That was fantastic.
Look at that.
Man. Baseball family, what do you think of that? How do you like them apples? That's what I want to know.
And let us know, is there another team you want to know about?
Yeah.
I mean, you can obviously do a quick Google search, but if you want to hear me blow Briggs' mind with a team name, send it on over. Send it through the mailbag, whatever you want.
Don't Google it. That's not as much fun.
That's right.
Let Brad Google it. Just feed the laziness. Just feed it. Just let it happen. Just
embrace it. Embrace it while you're at it.
That's what I do.
For sure.
It works.
It's like John Mulaney says in one of his stand-ups. He's like, well, because I'm lazy by nature. It's like, yes, that is an absolutely perfect depiction of my life. Yes, I'm lazy by nature.
All right, so let's talk injuries for a minute. And look, we have to talk about the Yankees because despite Aaron Judge and DJ LeMahieu still and perpetually injured, they're still killing it, man. I mean, it's disgusting how well they're doing, actually. I mean, tonight's game got rain delayed, but they were, what was this going to be, a sweep over Boston? If they won tonight?
Probably. Boston's terrible. Yeah, they're up 6-2. It just went final. Nope, 6-2, top of the 9th, 1 out.
Oh, okay, so the delay got lifted. Oh, wow, clearly I'm busy. All right. 6-2
Hey,
Yanks?
real quick, holy smokes. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Before we came on, I said, geez, the Mariners are already down 6-1. It's the 3rd inning.
Yeah, you did.
Bottom of the 4th inning. It is Seattle has an 8-6 lead.
What?
Unreal over the Dodgers. Holy smokes.
Wow,
They finally woke up after their trip to Houston.
I don't even have a place in my reference bin for that. Like, I'm just happy for you.
Thank you. And the only thing I can think of is like on Bull Durham. How did we ever win 6? It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's the only thing I can think of.
Did somebody break out the salami and the mustard? I mean, honestly, to come back.
I'll look that up while you
look it up, because I have something to say about the Aaron Judge 10-day IL placement. And so
go for it.
So we were talking about this earlier, and Brad was like, "God, geez, he's on the IL again." And I said, "Well, listen, if you think about it, you got teams that aren't even playing right now, right? And the Yankees have Clint Frazier just sitting there, not now because Judge been on IL, but Clint Frazier is on a tear. He's killing it. He's doing really, really well, and that's what they wanted, right? This is what we talked about. They want to up his chip value up his trade value, and so that they can, push him out. But every time we call him up, he holds his own. Offensively, he's fantastic, and defensively, he's really made lots of improvements. So my thought was, I'll bet you that Judge is on the IL as much with a strategic purpose as anything else. He
could be.
He's just sitting there. They're like, look, pump the brakes, man. We can't afford any problems later. We got 6 weeks left. Let's just any hint of a problem, he's getting pulled. So he can be there if they go to the playoffs. So that's what I think's happening. I don't think that would be any shock to anybody. I just want to clear the air because now I think the DJ LeMahieu thing is totally different. 2-3 weeks out, that's a different scenario all the way around. But the Stanton thing is falling right in the middle for me because it's like, well, come on, man. Earn your paycheck.
Well, there's a history there. I mean,
freak.
Yeah. Yeah, Stanton, I feel like anytime he goes on the IL, it's like there's no surprise. Of course he did. Of course he did. And, sometimes guys are just, I don't want to say they're too big, but
maybe
he might just be too big.
Yeah.
That there's certain guys that it doesn't matter what sport it is, they just can't stay healthy. Their bodies just aren't meant for it because for whatever reason,
Now on the opposite side of that, so let's talk about Bo Bichette because he doesn't have that problem. Not at all.
No, he's been good.
Right, good, healthy, but he's young and he's, now injured. So
yes,
till mid-September.
So he's going to miss. Yeah, he's going to miss a significant amount of time with the knee injury.
Yeah.
I didn't see exactly what it was, but that could still be.
It's a problem no matter what it is. I mean, not that they can't cover down, they can, but I worry about what this might mean for his long-term career because he's one of those young players that's so exciting and he's already super humble and he's already so capable that I don't want to see him have problems,
Yeah, and I just looked it up. It's a sprain. It's a knee sprain.
Yeah.
And those can linger. If I'm the Blue Jays, if they're not in contention in mid-September when he comes back, shut him down.
Right.
To make sure it's good to go.
That's what I mean.
Because you don't want to do any long-term damage to a guy like that. You'd rather shut it down and have him play a year that they're actually going to contend.
Yeah.
But then, by all means, if they are, then bring him back, put a brace on it, and hope for the best.
Right. The little Tiger Balm Ultra. We talked about that last time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Buy a
Theragun.
Have we talked about that?
The winning combination: Theragun with a Tiger Balm Ultra.
It's terrific, man. I'm telling you, this is solid gold advice right here. I don't know who's listening,
and it's free.
But it's for you. I promise. Okay.
So I have the Mariners box score right here.
Okay.
You've got home runs by Kyle Seager, my guy Kyle Lewis.
Yeah.
Evan White seems to finally breaking out of it. He got a home run like the second or third game of the season.
Okay.
And then he just fell off. He's batting like $124. He's still only batting $130, but I think his average has gone up in the last 3 days from where it was. And you've got a home run. No, sorry, Austin Nola has a couple RBIs. Evan White was the only other home run. But 3 home runs, a couple guys with a couple RBIs. It's
just solid
3, 4,
baseball.
5 hitters. Yeah, 3, 4, 5 hitters are actually coming through. And Kyle Lewis and Kyle Seager have both been on fire.
Yeah.
Kyle Lewis is batting .350.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now.
Fantastic.
The unofficial Kyle Lewis fan club right here.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier that he's playing so well because it's amazing.
Yeah, no
Been waiting for that guy for a couple of years, but
so the last thing I want to talk about on this segment before we move on to the next one is none other than Scotty V. Scott Boras is throwing his weight around in arguably inappropriate ways.
Yeah.
That's probably not
I'd
a
agree
fair
with that.
term, inappropriate, but
Well, he's one of those meddling
He
kids.
is. He's like Dennis the Menace, man. It's like, come on, dude. Shoot your slingshot somewhere else. Now, I just dated us both. That's fine. Not like we're young or anything, but freak.
No, but still.
But yeah, so Scott Boras basically, allegedly or whatever, told Trevor Bauer to shut down Momentum, which is his social media platform, YouTube channel, all that. So,
yeah,
it's his platform.
Well, the funniest thing about it to me is that Scott Boras does not even represent Trevor Bauer and never will represent Trevor Bauer because he's too smart for that.
Yes.
He tweeted out this week and said, and like his tweet said to players, he said, Scott Boras does not have your best interest in mind. He is not good for baseball. He would never go with Scott Boras. His agent is Rachel Luba, who is awesome, by the way, and I think gives him excellent and progressive advice. You know, Momentum is one of those things that she's actually involved in it, and I think that she's encouraged his involvement in it because she understands how important it is for players to market themselves.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I don't know why Scott Boras would be like, oh, you shouldn't be marketing yourself as a baseball player because MLB does a fine job.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Which they don't.
This coming. No, for sure. Wow, there's a lot there. Okay.
There is.
But listen, this coming from the guy who is solely responsible for a significant portion of Alex Rodriguez fame and reputation and everything that happens. I mean, wasn't it during the draft that Alex Rodriguez announced that he might be leaving the Yankees just to disrupt?
It's during the World Series.
It's during the World Series. That's what it was.
It's the World Series.
Right.
Yeah, because the Yankees weren't playing, and Scott Boras, of course, has them say, "Oh, we got our contract or something." I think it was this contract extension is what they announced during the World Series because it has to be all about Scott Boras clients all the time.
So talk about not marketing yourself. He just didn't want him marketing himself the way of the world. He doesn't want him marketing himself really an effective way because it's just not the traditional way, and he's scared of that, I guess. I don't know, which is interesting.
Well, I'm sure that's what it is. That he's a dinosaur. I mean,
yeah.
He still has old tactics. He still has his old negotiating tactics of, oh, we've got somebody else on the line. Do you though? We don't think you do.
But
he's been doing things the exact same way since 2001.
Yes, but in 2001 he was ultra disruptive. He came in and rocked every boat there was. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, he was. And
so for him to dog somebody for doing the same thing is shocking.
It is. But the thing is now is that he's still riding that momentum.
Oh, did you intend that pun? That was very good.
All of his clients.
What's that? Riding that momentum. All right.
Happy accident. Anyway, but no, he is riding that, and I don't think he gets his clients an extra dollar, to be honest with you. What it is there is market value, and they know these guys bring in this much revenue. Bryce Harper, Garrett Cole, both of them are worth as much as what they've gotten paid. They would have gotten that money anyway. Mike Trout got more than both of them, and he's not represented by Scott Boras. So I feel like that right there should have told guys, like, I don't need Boras to get rich.
Yep.
And hopefully he'll just get phased out of the league because people have seen that and get wise on him. That he's a snake.
Yeah. Baby shark dude. Just kidding. I can't do.
Mel just walked by and did this to me.
That was fair use.
That
was fair use.
kind of like on dodgeball, you know how the Globojin Cobras, how they do that.
That's right. No, he's a snake in the grass. He is, and it's just terrible. And he's out for himself and whomever else. And it's just, God, I just don't like him at all, and never have. So for him to infringe on Trevor Bauer's freedom of speech is particularly offensive to me. And I'm like, come on, man. He's not even like terribly well respected anymore. I mean, like, people trash him constantly We've
owners don't like him, GMs don't like him, nobody does.
And so for him to, what does he stand to gain by asking Trevor Bauer to shut it down? I don't get it. None of it makes any sense.
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
And I only say it that way.
It's probably because it's making him more famous than his clients.
Exactly. And I only ask, what does he stand to gain? Because that's all he ever cared about.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know.
The day he retires will be a good day.
Yep.
Good day for
I
baseball.
agree. All right, baseball family.
Before we go to break.
Wow.
I was going to say, before we go to break, you had power rankings, right?
Oh, yeah, power rankings. So,
or do you want to save it?
No,
or
let's do it really quick. So, I just think it's interesting that we are looking at some. So MLB.com did some power rankings, and what's happened here is that the Dodgers are in first place on MLB.com's power rankings, which is fine, makes perfect sense. But the Oakland Athletics are in number 2. And
the A's are playing
they're
good
playing
ball right
great
now,
baseball. I just want people to pay attention. Like, it happened. It's happening. Whatever it is,
I don't think they're wrong.
No, whatever it is happening in the Bay, and it's super awesome. So, I freak, man.
I mean, I'll be honest. I could do without it.
You could. Yeah,
for sure.
You could. Yeah, not me, though. Not me, though. Get that white elephant a ship. That's what I want. I want them parking it right in the Bay. So,
and you know what? You know what? I completely buy in on the A's right now because they can put with a budget roster that they bought at the 99-cent store, you can put together 75 to 80 good games. 75 to 80, let me say, very good games. I'd say they're contenders. 162 game season, no, because they'll run out of gas in the playoffs like they do every year. But 75 to 80 games, for sure.
And you only need 60 right now through the regular season, so good to go.
Yeah. Yep. I think they'll be good. I was including playoffs there.
Oh, yeah. So. Oakland has scored 48 runs this season in the 7th inning or later.
Jeez.
Now, the only other team to do that is Arizona, which is why I picked them as a wild card, by the way. Okay, let me plug that. All right, Yankees are in number 3 spot. I don't think that's any surprise. So they're playing great ball with some people on the IL. It's the next man up thing over in New York again. It's like it always is.
Yeah.
Now,
just like, I mean, especially last year you saw the depth, and shouldn't be surprised this year.
For real. Okay, so now the Cubs. This is what's really interesting. The Cubs lost 3 of the last 4 to the Brew Crew over this last weekend, right? That's it, though. like they're killing it right now, and this.
Yeah, and what it is, I feel like that is they've come back down to earth. Like the Cubs are 14-7, the Dodgers are 16-7. Going to be 16-8 after tonight. But the Yankees are 16-6. You know, so they've kind of leveled out, but at the same time, the fact that they were playing so well for as long as they did, that could be representative of who they are. I don't know.
Now, the number 5 power ranking in this article that I thought was just awesome is the Minnesota Twins, number 5. And it's, I think, exactly the same argument that you made about Oakland. I really do. I think that they have so much power and they have so much hunger and momentum. They just go to work every day, man. They just go to work. They're just like, they're not caught up in the hype. They're not caught up in the big names. They're not caught up in the big money. None of that. They're just like, you know what? We're going to come to work today. We're going to play great baseball.
Well, and the thing about the Twins too is they are tied with the Yankees for second in run differential at plus 38. I mean, the Dodgers are blowing everybody out. They're plus 60. But, you know, when you get down into the field a little bit more, you've got plus 38 with the Yankees and Twins. And ooh, sound like I swallowed a robot there. But no, I feel like that's more representative and more sustainable.
It is sustainable,
right there,
and I like it. So anyway, that's the power ranking stuff over the weekend. I don't think it'll change too much by tomorrow morning, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, baseball family, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. Brad's got some questions for me that I don't know about, so we'll see in a minute.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back with me, root, root, root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Shop kids' baseball shirts at 9pluss.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. Brig has something to say.
I wanted to say that I said at the end of the last segment that we would see you in a minute, and I realized that for you that's like 15 seconds later. So, if that. So I thought, well, I'm so sorry.
But we're back. Now that you mention, I think it is
exciting.
Like close to like 30 or 45, depending on which one I put in there. But not quite a minute.
Fine.
But anyway.
But yeah, you're right.
All right. So
okay, fine.
I have some baseball questions I want to ask Brig. It's they're kind of like just what things you would talk about with your buddies while you're watching the game. So I have a list of some questions here.
Terrific. Yeah.
Let's start with this one first. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Does team chemistry promote success, or does success translate into team chemistry? What do you think?
Yikes. That is a chicken and egg question. I think either are a great starting point, but if you don't have team chemistry, it won't sustain.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't know which comes first necessarily, because I think both can morph and evolve into the other. But I would say that the most sustainable model is to have existing organic chemistry that is then strengthened and emboldened and whatever by tangible success. And then if you have that combination, you cannot fail.
I totally agree with you. I feel like the chemistry comes first, because you can see teams that lose that have great chemistry. Like last year, we talked about how the Reds never made losing look so fun. Like that was a team that had amazing team chemistry. They were walking around with their cutoff sleeves during throwback day and bringing the weights into the dugout and everything, getting that pump and everything. They all did it together. They all were laughing, having fun. I think they lost that day still, but they all had fun doing it. So, yeah, no, I totally agree with you that the chemistry comes first, and then the winning comes. You can't win if you're not going to have talent, but it definitely helps to have the team chemistry.
Yeah.
All right. Will baseball ever go the way of the NBA and the KBO? So we're talking MLB. Will MLB ever go the direction of the NBA and KBO and allow loud music during the actual playing of the game rather than just during breaks or walk-up music?
I sincerely hope not.
Oh, yeah?
But I know your question was, will it? And I think it could, but I'm going to be dead by then. I mean, honestly, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not impossible. They're gonna put branding on the jerseys, and they're gonna get branding on the helmets, and they're gonna get branding on everywhere possible before we die. And then I think that. So I went to a Savannah Bananas game, and they did something very similar to that. It was just a ruckus. You know what? Actually, I take back what I said earlier about never having been to a rowdy baseball game, because that Savannah Bananas game was a rowdy experience. So I lied. I apologize. I am terribly sorry. But for sure, they played music almost until the pitch was released.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like, and I don't remember very well, but sometimes I feel like they forgot and just kept it going. But that I could be misremembering. I'm open to that. I just think, I know for sure, though, that the music was a priority all the way through, like, the setup and the, into the wind-up for sure. So, yeah. And then as soon as the pitch was done, ball strike, whatever, or if the guy made contact, I feel like music was right back on. Like that dude was whoever it was like, bam, push the button.
And see,
it was interesting.
I think that would be cool, because that's one thing I really like about NBA games is the atmosphere.
Yeah,
I think it's a ton of fun, and honestly, I thought this year was going to be the beginning of it. I thought that they were just going to play music during the games, because you listen to music during batting practice, you listen to music during practice, everything. And so I thought they were just going to well, there's no fans in the stands, there's no other noise, let's just play music. Instead, they pump in fake crowd noise, which really doesn't bother me and hasn't bothered me because I don't notice it.
No.
Until Bryce Harper hit that walk-off the other day.
Because it's what you expect.
Because once Bryce Harper hit that walk-off the other day, and it was and I heard the fake crowd noise pumped in, but there were no fans of the stands actually cheering. There's nobody going crazy. It's like, that is the most empty walk-off I've ever seen in my entire life. That was the first time.
Yeah, but it's not a departure. It's not a departure from what we expect and what those of us watching and listening on the radio at home are used to.
Yeah.
So, which is why they do it. But I haven't been to an NBA game in years, but all the way through the you're right.
It's constantly.
That's interesting.
Going.
It is constantly going. Yeah, I think I would be interested to see what a game looks and feels like with that. I'm open to the idea, which is shocking.
That is shocking.
I mean, because I am a traditionalist, and I think that we should hold true most of the time. But I think it would be interesting.
And I think with the upcoming generation, I think it's more likely to happen than it would have been even 10 years ago. Because, like I said one time, I took baseball theory when I was in college because I needed a PE credit, and I'm a nerd like that. But my teacher,
Amazing.
I think I called him that last time. My teacher told us, he said, I always told my guys when I was coaching, he's like, I said, do not step in that box until they turn that stupid walk-up music off. He's like, because I want you focused on the pitch. I'm like, no, like, I liked playing at places where they kept the music running, basically like you said, until the pitch is thrown, because it helped me stay out of my own mind. I feel like I would have played better if we could have had music going the whole time. And so I think if it's going to happen, the upcoming generations, maybe within 5-10 years, we could see it because that's what the players want. And if players this year say, we hated the fake crowd noise, we would like to have more music playing, that
I can see it. I can see it happening.
And I would think it would be awesome. I think it'd be really cool. And
I'm open to it.
Cool.
I really am.
Maybe let's write a letter. And
to whom?
I don't know.
Manfred?
Think about it. Maybe we'll write it to Joe Torre and let him tuck it away until he becomes commissioner.
Yeah, he'll just slip it up his sleeve. Yeah, just put it inside that French cuff sleeve.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
All right. Okay.
The knuckleball has historically proven to be an effective pitch. So why don't more pitchers throw it? Guys can throw it. They know how to. Why don't they?
Well, that's a great question. I think what it comes down to is that's a really great question. I have so many answers. Who's the Red Sox knuckleballer? Walker?
Tim Wakefield.
Wakefield, thank you.
He's probably the most famous knuckleballer too.
He is, and the reason, it might sound cheap that I bring him up, but the reason I bring him up is because he not only is he the most famous knuckleballer, but he was a very, very effective knuckleballer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he got destroyed by Aaron Boone, so it's like, I feel like that it's a risk reward thing. It's cost benefit analysis, and not very many guys are going to throw a pitch that's that off speed, unless it's the perfect scenario. And that's when baseball gets into becomes a chess match between the pitcher and the batter. But all of that mind game and that strategy and standing on the hill by yourself, like, that is going away. Mm-hmm. At this point, the pitchers are being told what pitch to throw, when, against whom, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not like Nolan Ryan. When Nolan Ryan talked about pitching, it was this mental game. Even David Cohn talked about the mental game, and he loved to just mess with people. He's like, okay, what do you think I'm going to throw? Okay, I'm not going to throw that because I think that's what you think I'm going to throw. And so because you think that's what you think I'm going to throw, I think you're going to throw this and whatever. And we're not going to do it that way.
Yeah.
But that's all. We're away from that. So I think that the knuckleball is super effective in that context, and I wonder if that's going to carry on. Maybe that's why fewer people throw it than they used to. I don't know.
I mean, R.A. Dickey won a Cy Young with the knuckleball with Toronto.
Totally.
So it is still a viable pitch, and his was like an 80-mile-an-hour knuckle. So that's unreal.
Right. That's right.
But
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing about the knuckleball. And I've never thrown a knuckleball. I have no idea how to throw a knuckleball. But from the viewer's perspective, what is interesting about the knuckleball is that throwing it poorly is very easy.
Yes.
It seems. Throwing it well is exceptionally difficult, but throwing it at an elite level where you can almost carve out your own success is, I think, damn near impossible. So I that's got to have something to do with it.
Well, and I mean, I don't know if part of it is that it doesn't always knuckle in every stadium, because if you throw a knuckleball in Denver or even Phoenix, it's going to go a long ways.
Yeah.
Because you're just lobbing it up there. It's not going to knuckle. It's not going to move.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder if, because as a catcher, I tried everything I could. Anytime, like, I'd be going through the signs of the guy, and, like, I knew he wanted to throw his knuckleball because he had somebody 0-2, and he's just like, oh, yeah, my knuckleball's my out pitch. I'm like, no, dude, he's going to have on first base because it's going to be the backstop. So I'm going through the signs, and they keep shaking me off. Go through everything. I give them fastball twice, and then they keep shaking me off. I call time, go like, dude, knock it off. You're not throwing your dang knuckleball because it doesn't knuckle, and when it does, I can't catch it because it's impossible. So we're not throwing your knuckleball today.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there are catchers out there who are shutting down pitchers who want to throw a knuckleball. They're like, no, I'm not catching it, because Johnny Bench said that. I've heard him say, I think it was on Dan Patrick, that the Reds wanted to bring in a knuckleball pitcher. Like, well, you better sign a new catcher because I'm not catching him. And Bob Uecker says the best way to catch a knuckleball is to let it stop rolling and pick it up. So
Mr. Baseball himself.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so when I
great.
heard those things, it made me feel so much better as a catcher growing up. Like, no, I'm not catching your freaking knuckleball. Get off it.
Yeah.
So, I think that might be part of it, and also the fact that it might not knuckle wherever you are. Like if you
it's not consistent.
Get thin air, it's not going to work, and you can't just skip a guy in the rotation because you're playing in Denver or Phoenix. So
no, yeah, absolutely.
So that's
a good point.
Those are my 2 cents.
I like that.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
All
right. How about this one? And this is one that I read this and I was kind of like, I don't know. Why does spring training?
Listen,
go ahead.
My camera's gonna die.
Okay.
I'm just gonna warn everybody that's gonna cut out, but it's okay. We'll keep going.
We'll do 2 more. 2 more.
Yes.
Why does spring training have so much more allure than training camp in other sports like the NFL or the NBA? Why is spring training like the pilgrimage?
Oh, that's easy, man. It's accessibility. That's easy. I think for me, it's promoted. Mm-hmm. It's accessible. I mean, you can go. They sell tickets. Mm-hmm. And there's such a relaxed atmosphere. It's so appealing. Mm-hmm. And you're desperate for baseball by then anyway. Yeah. So you go. You want to go so bad. And it's more than just I need baseball in my life. There is that obviously. Mm-hmm. But what you end up with is I need springtime. I need summertime. I'm so ready. Yeah, I need sunshine. I need warm. I need all this. It's just this perfect storm of ache and yearn and need that it's just you end up in this confluence of perfection, and then you throw baseball in there and it's like, well, I was going to go south anyway. Yeah. Might as well be for baseball.
Yeah. And the NFL has I feel like they kind of saw that and they started selling tickets to training camps. So you can get 2,000-3,000 people whatever at training camp, but at the same time with baseball, like you come to the Phoenix area, you're not just seeing if you come for the Diamondbacks. You're not just seeing if you come for the Cubs. You can see the Cubs. You can see the Diamondbacks, Mariners, A's, Dodgers, Reds, Indians. You can see half of Major League Baseball in one town or one city.
Basically, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you go to Florida, and they're spread out a little bit, but it's not that bad. Not
it's
that big
still
of a deal.
within a couple hours either way.
Yeah, and if you go to, if you're making the trip at that point, you're like, well, we're here, we might as well go north a couple hours. So no, I totally agree with you.
I agree.
It's accessibility. It's like you said, that yearning for not just baseball but the warm weather. You know, when we came down this last year, we left in the morning in March, and it was 25 degrees in Idaho. We got here, we landed, and it was 80. It was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, see, and then once you get a taste of that, you know, your whole life changes. You're like, I'm never not doing this.
Oh, I know. I texted my boss. I was like, I'm not coming back, by the way. And it turns out I almost kind of didn't.
Yeah, right? Yeah, now you didn't officially. You're there now.
Yeah.
No, I think I think it's the perfect storm. I think that's part of the appeal that baseball has, is that it flows in this natural progression. It's along this almost cosmic planetary alignment thing where it's just, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
I love it.
All right, last one. Here we go.
Okay.
Should a pitcher ever win an MVP award, or should that be reserved for an everyday player because pitchers have the Cy Young Award?
Yeah, this is one of those age-old questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with a pitcher winning an MVP. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing at all. I think that you have to look really closely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the threshold or the standard is a little higher for pitchers to win MVP, but I don't think it's impossible. I don't think, yeah, exactly. I don't think it should be barred. But if you get a guy who can go, so let's take the current scenario, the current environment, right? You get a guy who can stand on the mound once every 5 days, and he's just in his spot in the rotation. He can carry you not only through 7, but all the way through 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that is going away. There are very few pitchers that that they're going to let go over 100 pitches and through 9, 8 even. Because you might have a couple of bad half innings in there. So what you end up with, for me, is so if you want to give an MVP to a pitcher, he's got to go 7 or more consistently, and I mean like very consistently, and he's got to go 100 plus pitches or more. You know, like even to 120 even. I want to see multiple complete games, but then what it comes down to is Ks. It's all about strikeouts at that point. What is the player's impact? And you could say WAR's, you know, an effective tool to measure this, but if you ERA almost gets there for the entirety of this person's impact on the game itself, and you know, when they're playing. That's why WAR, you know, is arguably a more important statistic. But the point is that you know, if you can get a guy who can go 7 plus, 8 plus, over 100 pitches consistently, and then is also racking up, you know, I'm thinking like I need 7 strikeouts bare minimum per game.
Okay.
I want to see more in the 10 range, and then I want to see lots of ground balls and flyouts and stuff like that. Like his ERA still has to be low, obviously. Yeah, but what I'm saying is see what it takes to get a pitcher an MVP, and just in my mind, this becomes it's a very difficult thing, but it's possible. And if a guy is doing that, man, they are literally the most valuable player on the team, and maybe in the entire organization, or in the entire freaking MLB. So, yeah, I don't think that it's as difficult for a position player who plays most every day to rack up the statistics and the impact like it would be for a starting pitcher, for instance. Now, if you're talking about relief closers, it'd be really difficult for a relief pitcher or a closer to earn MVP. I don't think they play in the game long enough. That's it. And it's nothing against them. That's the role they play. It's perfectly acceptable. They fill a very, very important role. But it's just difficult to impact the game in, as much as you need to for MVP in such a short amount of time. That's it.
And see, I'm kind of the opposite on that. I don't feel like a starter could earn it because MVP is typically given to somebody, unless you're Mike Trout, who's on a very good team. Because your performance is translating into wins. And a pitcher, maybe that team is winning only one out of every 5 games. You know, that happened with Felix Hernandez when he won the Cy Young, and even then they weren't winning 1 out of every 5 games, you know? That he won the Cy Young strictly because of his solo performances. And I feel like the guy who is really going to make the most impact to be not only most valuable pitcher on his team, but also most valuable player in the league is going to be a closer. Because if you have a closer who racks up 50, 60 saves, there's probably 40 to 45 of those where it was really him truly that pitcher closing out the game. That if you had another closer come in, he would probably blow a lot of those. Yeah. That this guy is in there, he's in there every single night just about, closing the other team out and shutting the door, basically creating an 8-inning game because you don't need to worry about that 9th inning. I feel like the closer is really the one who's going to have the greatest impact coming out of the pitching staff because, like I said, if they're not going to give the MVP typically to somebody on a bad team. So if you've got a starter who's coming out every 5 days doing his thing, like Garrett Cole last year, who still hasn't lost a decision aside from the World Series since, and I don't even at this point I don't even remember. I mean, it's been like May of last year.
Yeah,
since he's lost a decision, and he still didn't win the MVP because he was on a team with Justin Verlander coming out, getting wins. Zach Greinke, who they traded for, was coming in and getting wins. You know, it's a very good team that, despite Garrett Cole's otherworldly performance for the entire season, he still wasn't the most valuable player on that team, or much less in the league. So that's why I think it's really hard for a starter. If anybody coming out of the pitching staff, it's gonna be the closer because they're the one who's basically creating those wins out of an opportunity when somebody else could come in and blow it. So
and that's what I'm saying. I guess I understood your question to be starters. First anyway. No, because I qualified it to encompass those other positions, but so you didn't. This is nobody's at fault here, but that's what I'm saying. Like it would take more for a starting pitcher to earn MVP. And I think we agree on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that if you can do it in something similar to the way I've outlined, then you cannot argue with that person being the most valuable player. You can't.
Yeah, I do think I think it's so hard though because you've got Jacob deGrom, who was obviously the most valuable player on that team
for sure.
Last 3 years,
at least 3. Yeah,
and the fact they're not winning games, that's why he's not coming close to an MVP.
That's right. That's exactly
his
right.
Is not translating into wins.
And we need to separate this
starts because there's nothing he can do about it.
Right, and we need to separate this. When we're talking about wins, we're talking about 2 different things here, and probably both at the same time and at different times. That's the problem. We're talking about games won collectively. The team won the game versus the pitcher won and earned that statistic. I view them separately. You have to. You have to view them separately.
100%. Yeah.
So if we're talking, did the pitcher earn a win, a la Garrett Cole, and come out on top of that decision, or did the team win? See, this is the problem I have with the pitchers winning or losing games. I think
it's a bad stat. It's become a really bad stat.
It's so flawed,
because like I said, Garrett Cole hasn't lost a decision. I mean, it doesn't mean he's undefeated in that time. It means that he came out of the game either with a lead or tied.
That's right.
At that time.
That's right. And it's a flaw in the system. It just is. And it's been around way, way too long We got to get over it. But baseball, again, is obsessed with its past. So how do we qualify the future if we change that and compare it to the past? So what they've done, whomever, they've just decided to keep it the same, and it's terrible. But I don't know. The point is, do I agree with you? Does the closer have the opportunity? Mariano Rivera is probably the greatest example ever. Does he have the ability to impact the game greater than the starting pitcher? Yes. Yes, absolutely. But the same goes the other way. It's just more difficult. And it depends on the offense. And it depends on the defense. And it depends, it's so... That's the problem with giving the pitcher the MVP is there's so many other things that's out of their control, which is the same problem that you have with the win-loss statistic. There's so many factors that are out of their control that you can't. It's a flawed statistic. So, which I understand makes this discussion a little bit rhetorical, but the point is like it's purely academic at this point. But what I'm saying is I agree with you. I think we're probably saying the very same thing. We just can you look, your question was, is it okay to give a pitcher, any pitcher at all, an MVP award? And I say yes. Yes, it is. Even with the Cy Young, I would be okay with a pitcher winning both. That'd be okay. Yeah. It'll never happen. People are too interested in spreading trophies around and making sure everyone's happy. But the point is, I can, if both were justifiable, then yes, both are acceptable in my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And like I said, I feel like it's more likely a closer than a starter, but that's because of impact in the game. But yeah, it was an interesting question when I came across it. I was like, man, I had never thought of that before.
No, it's a great question. It's and the only reason the closer over the starting pitcher is because it would take so much more for the starting pitcher to accomplish the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, because of appearances and
there's a lot.
The way it works out.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, the game is changing. The game is changing. Guys can't go complete games every night like they used to.
Yep.
And that's I think it's a terrible shame. I understand that we want to save arms and that we're worried about injury prevention and all that. I'm on board with that. I just wish there was a better way to find a middle ground and keep it the way it's been for forever.
It'd be nice. But
yeah. There's not.
But baseball family, let us know what you think. Comment on the Facebook group 9+us VIPs. If you're not a member, go send us a request. We'll add you. We can have tons of conversation there. You can send us your thoughts in our mailbag. There's a link to the mailbag in the doobly-doo of every episode on wherever you get your podcasts and also on YouTube. Send us a message on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, at Baseball Together on Instagram, at Baseball, the number 2 together on Twitter. Don't forget think about any of those questions.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget to jump on the shop at 9plusus.com, NINEPLUS.com. Tonight I'm wearing my Let Freedom Swing shirt. I was until my camera died. And then I'm also wearing my Dia del Mago hat, which is very exciting. And it's got the aqua blue going on and the pink outline. Super exciting. If you're not up on what Dia del Mago is, we celebrated it this last week. And if you remember the 9+us VIP group, you know exactly what that is. So jump on there. Podcast listeners should be aware as well. But we got some exciting stuff on the shop right now.
Yeah. So Briggs said that he was wearing his Freedom Swing shirt until his camera died. Then he proceeded to take it off because that's how he rolls.
Correct. It's like being on a Zoom meeting at work, bro. It's like, why wear pants? I don't know. I haven't found a good reason to wear pants yet.
You and me both. But don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Tell your friends about us so we can grow it. And baseball family, we will catch you next week on a Tuesday.